something we only really see Astralis do at the moment. I hope we get to see that from Virtus.Pro going forward, as when you're pushing through the B bomb site, then you can defend the bomb from almost anywhere.
And I like how Virtus.Pro take this decisively straight into the B bomb site, and no messing around. And that's an important factor as well. When you play around like this, an anti-eco, keeping it simple, playing fast into bomb sites can be very beneficial, because you don't really get give the CTs a chance with those pistols to reposition or really work out what's going on. You just hit them hard and fast. You're going to have the numbers advantage, the weapons advantage, and you pick a site where it's where you have a lot of strength as well. And Virtus.Pro also keep the pace up. They keep the pace high with having these fast rounds. So let's see if mousesports can have a better result in this one, or if Virtus.Pro again opts for a fast anti-eco, which again is completely the opposite of how mousesports play theirs.
Standard setup somewhat from mousesports. They've got they've got a three-man push through Ivy here, but it's not going to be fruitful because there are no Ts there whatsoever. And speaking of which, the Ts are charging into the A bomb site. If Snacks can get around that corner fast enough, he won't need to. They're going to smoke off the choke point instead. But if he pushes all the way to the back of A, then he may be sandwiched. And he's got a UMP. Looking the right way to take NiKo down. And again, he's just going to try and cause havoc in that direction. So where are the rest of the mousesports side? That is the question here for Virtus.Pro. Neo's going to push. There's a bit of a taser coming in there. A taser attempt not working out, though. I respect it because, well, we can talk about tasers in a bit. Chris J and Dennis to get taken down, and now it's just Chris J. So we'll see if he can pick something up. But tasers, I mean, in fairness, they are somewhat underutilized at the moment, because you can get up to some stupid stuff with them. For example, if you're on Dust 2 and you're in that boost position underneath the bomb site, you can jumping tase someone from that position. You can do that.
Yeah, there's when it came in, people were experimenting with it all the time, but then it kind of fell out of favor for a while. Either way, it's going to end up to be a 10-8 scoreline. Virtus.Pro able to convert those rounds, and again, they do it in a way where they keep the pace really high. And you can see mousesports went for an aggressive play on Ali. They didn't even get a chance to do anything because Virtus.Pro already asserting themselves on the map, and that's kind of that's lends itself to that style of the plow that we hear so much about with Virtus.Pro, where they just run over their opponents, force their will, and the flick from Snacks, it's sublime. Glorious. Now it's going to be a 5 versus 4 immediately, and with 1 minute 40 seconds essentially upon that kill to make choices with that man advantage. This is a beautiful spot for Virtus.Pro to be in.
Yeah, and mousesports are going to have to take a gamble on how they approach the B bomb site here. You can see Spiddy's left in a very passive position on his own, whereas normally you'd have somebody deep. You can see how NBK plays B for Envy, for an example of that. And then again, you can have a rotator. NiKo's on the AWP here. He's around connector, so he can offer somewhat a bit of a rotation to cover that high ground. But Spiddy's almost at the back of the B bomb site here, so even if Virtus.Pro make it in, I mean, life might be difficult for mousesports should Virtus.Pro choose to go there. However, wherever they choose to go, now it's 2 per site, so there will be problems here for the CTs, but there's no smoke to cover the crosshair as mousesports did on their T side between these 2 trains. Neo shoulder picking, just trying to draw the CTs away as Patch moves into the A site with the bomb as well, which means the CTs are going to go back. The bomb's down now.
Yeah, this has worked out quite well from a rotation perspective, but from a fragging perspective, you got Next sitting on the bomb train here, causing a lot of problems. The nades are coming in from Virtus.Pro, but they've run out now. They've got no more utility to use, and NiKo and Next are still massive problems here. As NiKo comes in with another one. The AWP has been great for him so far, and now it's just Neo. AWP and a Deagle. No time though, 15 seconds. What? Neo gets 2 with 1 shot there. The Deagle coming in, but still 10 seconds to go for Neo to plant this bomb. The time is a massive factor at this point. He can't fake. Spiddy knows that. He's going to push forwards now to try to crush Neo, and he's only got 14 points of health as Neo tries to find himself the perfect engagement. And that's not going to happen. Spiddy is going to catch Neo in the back of the head, but Neo gets 2 kills in the bomb plant out of what looked to be an impossible scenario.
Man, that's two heads in the vice stand. That was grotesque. And yet glorious at the same time. But the round goes to mousesports, and so does the AWP. Show me. That is absolutely disgusting. So Virtus.Pro still have money in the bank. That AWP pickup from mousesports will be a very juicy one. That will be one that they would not otherwise be able to afford here. So It may not be the most spectacular buy from mousesports despite winning the round. Indeed, we have double FAMAS coming out for Nex and Dennis. 5 AKs for Virtus.Pro. Will that mean a fast play here, knowing that there's an AWP as well in tow here for mousesports? Or will they wait, maybe expecting limited utility here for the mousesports side, and they'll try to exploit that with their time?
Yeah, speaking of time, that was the smart thing from Virtus.Pro last round. They got the initial frag advantage, but they waited for the CTs to waste their nades. And they didn't have many, and looks like the CTs want to get aggressive this time. Flash in for Dennis. That's going to work out wonderfully. Oh no, tries to go for the AK, but he will be punished for his sins. Now his Snax can just stand there, holding it down. And once again, we have a man advantage here. mousesports went 2 for 1, or well, 1 for 2, sorry, in that situation. That's not how you want to do it as the CT side. This is a disaster for them.
Yeah, Greed's getting the better of Dennis there. Gluttony, Dan. He wanted every slice of the pie, but Mama came in. Mama said, no, Mama spanked that ass. And now it's a man advantage for Virtus.Pro. Round advantage, man advantage for them. But they still need to take control of one of these two sites. Pasha biding his time towards Ivy, waiting for the smoke to disappear. Chris J is somewhat isolated from his teammate Lex. He can't really support him there, and he's going to get taken down. No support, no answer here for the CTs. Loses the duel as well, gets his bell rung, then finished off by Bayali, leaving Nico alone versus 4 tagged players, but with the AWP, he may just want to save.
Absolutely. Looks like it's definitely going to be the best choice. I mean, there's no way he's going to win this one with no kid as well. Now Nico is capable of a lot of things. But this was another well-played round by Virtus.Pro, and again, you could see that, you know, mousesports, we had some misplays there. The greed, as mentioned, going for the AK, because he could easily just fall back off of the frag, or try to just, I mean, and many players would do that, or, just try to take a more forward position where he's not trying to overextend for a gun, but, maybe get into that nook on the right. So a lot of options there, but he probably picked one of the worst ones. Either way, it's going to be that 11-9 now that stares mousesports in the face, because they know it's going to get worse. Their economy has been shot, so Virtus.Pro have the momentum well and truly into their T side. And how will mousesports recover?
Yeah, this is quite disastrous for mousesports. Win 1 round after losing 3, and then lose immediately, just get wiped out. At this point in the match, this is quite a precarious situation. That said, Virtus.Pro don't have, well, I guess they've deployed some nades. They have a lot of Molotovs. Well, they have some Molotovs. 3, in fact. They have a trio, Dan, of Molotovs. There's a nice crossfire here for the CTs. Oh, Pasha gets the nade out. That's a bit cheeky, but he manages to get away with it. Spraying down Chris J. But there's more CTs to come here. The crossfire is going to net them 2 frags, but now Spiddy's left alone. And this is an interesting situation for Virtus.Pro. The bomb is down, but they need to cover the dropped weapons as well and make sure that Spiddy can't get to one of those. His hand will be forced by that Molotov, and then Barley will finish him off. Nice play from Virtus.Pro to control that situation. 12 up to 9.
Yeah, but that hard reset the mousesports just received means that they cannot buy just yet. They've got to save again. They can purchase a few pistols to keep the pressure up. But obviously, this is a very problematic spot for them, because Virtus.Pro, that allows them to get to 13 rounds already, then only a mere 3 away from winning. And so that means that when eventually the buy does come in from mousesports and they're up against that 13-9, they have to make it work then. That's got to be the rounds where they get the comeback. So it's all going to be on that one pretty much. And mousesports will try to get something done here, and they'll be receiving an A aggression from Virtus.Pro. But Virtus.Pro have been so coordinated and playing the trades really well in these anti-ecos.
Now Neo's gun needs to be protected. We saw the greed from mousesports trying to get that gun in main. They're going to want to pick up an AK as well. But Virtus.Pro have the cover of main to stop that from happening, and there we go. A wipeout on the A side. Spiddy left alone and soon dispatched off, put in a box and sent DHL style express delivery out of the map entirely. 4-round lead now for Virtus.Pro. Full nades coming out once again. Double AWPs coming out from mousesports. They will need to make them work, especially in lieu of the lack of grenades on those 2 players. Not much room for error now here for mousesports. If they were to lose this round, then they might be in a situation where they would have to force fight, otherwise to be playing against match points. So,
and Virtus.Pro don't know what the setup will be from mousesports. They don't know that they have 2 AWPs, because that would inform Virtus.Pro's call. So Virtus.Pro, if they go for a really fast play, or if they go for a slow play with smokes, whatever it is, one's going to be better against a double AWP setup. The smokes usually, because you can get position more freely with those smokes. But next closer, and he's got a good position initially, but he's trying to back out there. Very well handled, very confident and calm there from Next. He's got support from Dennis now, and this is fantastic. mousesports with an easy cleanup. Virtus.Pro kind of falling apart there in that execution of the push.
The round they wanted, the round they needed, maybe the round they deserved. You at home can decide on that one. So the gap is closed just by the one round. There's still money on Virtus.Pro. I'm curious to see how much they'll have left in the hole once the full buy comes out here, because that's going to be key information, especially if Virtus.Pro can't win this round, but they can do some damage and that can pay off in the following rounds. But there's kind of money here and there left for both teams, but importantly, Bali's got 7.5k in the bank, and that's going to be key going forward. So nothing but pressure coming the way of mousesports from Virtus.Pro, and there's 2 players for both sides heading towards Ivy.
Yeah, and we have a really nice pop flash there into the CTs on Ali, but Christian's still going to be pushing the angle against Pasha. Orb versus Orb, and it will be Pasha, the biceps that reign supreme in this instance now, as Dennis is there close. But do they realize they should probably have their experience will tell them that it could be quite possible that Christian would have had support there, so they would be wary of Dennis in this position. And there it is, they throw in the Molotov. They realize now as Dennis throws a smoke that he's there, and Dennis is not safe until he gets out of this position, because they can spam. They are still spamming through that smoke with the rifles. Dennis realizes he's in a very problematic position.
Pasha gets revenge on Chris J from the previous half, and there we go. Pasha's having a much better time in this half than he was on the previous. He's got about 13 frags now, and mousesports are getting wiped out one by one. This is not something they can afford to happen, quite literally, in every sense of the word. Nico and Next remain. With Nico alive, even on 20 HP, he's always going to be a problem. 44 seconds left. That bomb needs to rotate to one of these 2 sites, but neither is occupied by the T's at the moment. That said, Pasha's position, he's in CT spawn. That is a very important, he has a very important role to play, and Nico, that's ridiculous. He's still alive here. 26 seconds. The Next is on the bomb site. If he can stay alive here, then Virtus.Pro will have time problems. But there's somebody creeping around that smoke, and it's Taz. And he may try and punish Next for his tracers, and indeed that's what's going to happen here. Nico takes down by Ali. In the meantime, the bomb's on the floor, and there are 12 seconds left, but Nico's on the wrong side of the bomb train to stop it from going down.
They don't know where he is, and that element of surprise could be what saves Nico here as he goes close, and he's going to spot the first frag. Taz is done, but can Neo save the day? Nico, he has no idea where Neo is, but his legs will give it away. No time to make the flick though. Neo too quick, too savage, and that will be it around there for Virtus.Pro, and they are now completely reset our mousesports, but they do have a little bit of cash in the bank.
Yeah, they can actually get a better buy than expected here. Nico almost with the ace there. He's so dangerous, even of 20 HP. 4k for him, but it was not enough. He needs 5 to save mousesports in that round. 2 rounds away now of Virtus.Pro from taking this. Double ops coming out for the T side, which will make things quite interesting. And with the kind of buy mousesports have, I wonder if this could be awkward for Virtus.Pro having 2 AWPs in this kind of situation. They can't really go for a fast play like they would normally do. Snacks knows there can be no AWP for the side, so he's going to take that peek over towards main, towards Connector, sorry. And there we go, we have a push from mousesports, doesn't pay off towards Ivy. Some information to Virtus.Pro, but no kills just yet.
Stax is trying to work this up, and so far he's not been availed much, but when he finally is, he will connect. Flawless stuff there from Virtus.Pro, and it looks like the plow is in action now, as there's almost nobody left standing in just about 5 seconds there. 4 players are dead from mousesports, just Spiddy left, and Virtus.Pro so close to moving on to match point, onto the big juicy 15. And the prospects for mousesports are very grim indeed, because they did force up in this round as they had to, and they're going to have to do the same in the next round. And there's just no money. There's just no money. The buy is just not going to be respectable in any sense for them. So they'll be playing with the jumble sale. The car boot sale buy.
Yeah, that's a pretty hardcore jumbo sell down. It's like they got there just as everything was closing. Half the cars have left. There's just like some old granny, you know, she's got a bit slightly Alzheimer's, mostly arthritis. She can't, you know, get the door closed fast enough. So grab what they can down, and it's not going to be much. 2 mag.